I'm Azaria Tagaya, and this is Nightline, news making the headlines. Prime Minister once again denies hand in Zahid's DNAA. And subsidies to cost government 100 billion ringgit unless reforms made. Good morning. Dato' Sri Anwar Ibrahim has clarified that he did not intervene in the decision to grant a discharge not amounting to an acquittal or DNAA to Deputy Prime Minister Dato' Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi in the latter's corruption case. Addressing the Dewan Rakyat on Tuesday, the Prime Minister said he had only requested the then Attorney General AG Tan Sri Idrus Harun to explain the decision and did not discuss the matter prior to it, as claimed by some quarters.
Kerana jawapan saya di Singapura, apakah saya berbincang? Bila peguam negara buat keputusan, saya tanya dia betul. Saya bukan bincang keputusan dia. Saya tanya dia apa alasan. Itu dia bagi 11 alasan.
Anwar said this during his winding-up speech for the 12th Malaysia Plan Mid-Term Review 12 MP MTR in Parliament. He pointed out that this was not the first time that a DNAA was granted after a prima facie case had been proven, citing the Kim Jong-nam murder case involving the public prosecutor and Siti Aisyah and Duan Thi Huong. Anwar added that the decision made by Tan Sri Idrus was also in accordance with Article 145(3) of the Federal Constitution, whereby it is the authority of the AG to exercise his discretion to institute, conduct or discontinue any court proceedings. Earlier this month, Zahid was granted a DNAA on all of his 47 bribery, criminal breach of trust and money laundering charges involving Yayasan Akal Budi funds. Meanwhile, the motion on the 12 MP MTR was passed with a majority voice vote in the Dewan Rakyat. This after opposition MPs staged a walkout due to their dissatisfaction over Speaker Tan Sri Johari Abdul's order for Putrajaya MP Datuk Razi Jidin to leave the hall for disrupting Anwar's winding-up speech. The government would have to bear up to 100 billion ringgit in subsidies every year unless the subsidy system is reformed. Economy Minister Rafi said in 2022 the government allocated over 80 billion ringgit for subsidies, which involved subsidies for RON 95 petrol, diesel, LPG and electricity.
Sebab itu secara rasional kita semua sedar bahawa perbelanjaan ini lebih baik disasarkan kepada golongan yang benar-benar memerlukan agar lebih banyak peruntukan boleh digunakan untuk khidmat rakyat yang belanja dan juga untuk belanja-belanja pembangunan yang lain. Soalnya ialah apakah kaedah yang paling adil kepada rakyat untuk kita mengimbangi kesan makro yang lain seperti inflasi.
He said this when winding up the debate on the motion of the 12th Malaysia Plan Mid-Term Review for his ministry in the Dewan Rakyat. He added that the world crude oil price has reached $95 per barrel and is expected to increase to $100 per barrel soon, which would in turn further increase the amount that would have to be borne by the government. Also in the Dewan Rakyat, former Second Finance Minister Datuk Sri Johari Abdul Ghani said he agreed with the government's strategy to change the country's economic structure, including its fiscal policies. The Titiwangsa MP also said targeted subsidies would allow Malaysia to be able to manage its fiscal policies in stages, but this would not be possible without political commitment.
Daripada jumlah income yang kita dapat, kita hampir bercecah 22 hingga 25% subsidi. Jadi sudah tentu 22-25% ini adalah sangat tinggi. Nah, kalau dia tinggi, dia sampai kepada sasaran membantu orang tak apa. Tetapi kalau dia tinggi kerana ada ketirisan, kebocoran kerana sistem subsidi kita ini akan menyebabkan banyak ketirisan.
Johari said this when interjecting during Economy Minister Rafizi Ramli's winding-up speech for the debate on the 12 MP MTR. Rafizi, meanwhile, admitted that the big shift which was needed to strengthen the country's fiscal standing was the introduction of targeted subsidies. He added that the implementation of targeted subsidies using the Malaysian main database PADU will minimize the overlaps in the distribution of aid and subsidies from the various agencies and at the same time allow for a more accurate determination of target groups. The country's rubber industry is expected to soar in the coming years following the strengthening of cooperation with China in the field of commodities. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Fadillah Yusof said the Prime Minister's visit to China last Sunday has opened up opportunities for increased cooperation in the field of commodities and agriculture-based industries, including rubber, palm oil, biodiesel and access for Malaysian agricultural products to the Chinese market.
Masuklah kalau kita melihat hasilan produk kita yang utama dari segi getah ialah yang dapat menangani ataupun dalam bidang pembinaan construction, iaitu untuk pastikan bangunan yang dibina boleh tahan daripada gegaran gempa bumi misalnya. Yang ini adalah satu produk yang begitu terkenal sekali dan termasuklah apa yang dah dilaksanakan di UK dan merata dunia, hasilan produk R&D yang kita telah hasilkan.
Fadillah, who is also Plantation and Commodities Minister, said this after officiating the Malaysian Rubber Board Technology Day 2023 in Sungai Buloh, Selangor on Tuesday. He further said that the rubber innovation product can deal with structural movement due to temperature changes or protection from tremors due to earthquakes. Fadillah said his ministry is also planning to hold a mission to China to discuss cooperation in areas that can be developed. Former Banting Assemblyman Lau Eng San has been appointed as the new Selangor State Assembly Speaker, replacing Eng Swee Lim. Lau was nominated by Eng, who is also the Sekinchan Assemblyman, and supported by Banting Assemblyman V. Paparaidu, who represents the government. Earlier, Sejangkang Assemblyman Dato' Ahmad Yunus Hairi, who was also State Pass Commissioner, nominated State Pass Deputy Commissioner 3 Dr. Muhammad Fuad Muhammad Saleh, representing the opposition, for the Speaker post. Lau received 34 votes compared with 22 votes garnered by Dr. Muhammad Fuad. State Assembly Secretary J. Gayatri Prasena announced that the secret ballot was held in the first sitting of the 15th Selangor State Assembly after two names of candidates for the Speaker post were submitted. Lau also declared Muhammad Kamri Kamaruddin, who was also Bukit Antara Bangsa Assemblyman, as his deputy. Muhammad Kamri, who was nominated by Pelabuhan Kelang Assemblyman Azmi Zamzaman Huri and supported by Teratai Assemblyman Yu Jia Har, also received 34 votes. Following Lau and Muhammad Kamri's appointment, the state's 56 Assemblymen took their oath of office before the new Speaker. The swearing-in was led by Menteri Besar Datuk Sri Amiruddin Syari, who was also the Sungai Tua Assemblyman, followed by 10 members of the State Executive Council and other Assemblymen. The Election Commission EC will hold a special meeting next Monday to fix key dates for the Jepat state by-election in Sarawak. Its Secretary, Dato' Ikmal Ruddin Ishak, said that the meeting will be chaired by EC Chairman Tan Sri Abdul Ghani Saleh. In a statement on Tuesday, Ikmal Ruddin said the EC had received the official notification from the Sarawak State Assembly Speaker Tan Sri Muhammad Asfia Awang Nasar regarding the vacancy of the N67 Jepat State seat. According to Article 21, Bracket 5 of the Sarawak State Constitution, the seat must be filled within 60 days from the date it was vacated. Ikmal Ruddin also said the special meeting, among others, will discuss the dates for the issuance of the writ of election, the nomination of candidates, polling and the electoral rolls to be used. The Jepat State seat fell vacant following the death of its incumbent Datuk Talib Zulpilip on September 15th. The former minister in the Sarawak Chief Minister's office had served as Jepat Assemblyman for 6 terms since 1996. Barisan Nasional BN and Perikatan Nasional PN are scheduled to announce their candidates to compete in Pahang's Pelangai state by-election on Wednesday night. Based on the invitation given to the media, BN will announce the candidates at the Bentong Municipal Council Hall in Bentong at 8 p.m. The announcement will be made by the Pahang BN Chairman and Menteri Besar Datuk Sri Wan Rosdi Wan Ismail, while PN is scheduled to announce its candidate at 9 p.m. The nomination process will take place at the Felda Kemasol Hall on September 23rd, while polling is set for October 7th. The Pelangai seat became vacant following the death of incumbent Datuk Sri Johari Harun in a plane crash in Bandar Elmina, Shah Alam on August 17th. In the 15th general election, BN won the seat with a majority of 4,048 votes. After this breather, 25 killed as bus plunges into ravine. Stay tuned. The powerful earthquake that rocked Morocco on September 8th has created an urgent demand to aid the stricken victims who require essential assistance such as tents, food, medication, hygiene kits and restroom facilities. Following this, Media Prima Berhad MPB and the Malaysian Medical Relief Society Mercy Malaysia have launched a joint relief campaign to assist the affected victims in the North African country.
You know, with the toilet facilities not being around, I think there is a possibility going on into the future, if this is not dealt with, that there could be diseases that can affect the whole community, very easily transmissible diseases, and also close living quarters as well. There are lots of beds which are packed together in tents.
According to non-governmental organizations NGOs in Morocco, the magnitude 6.8 earthquake destroyed over 65 villages along the high Atlas Mountains. The disaster also resulted in injuries to over 5,600 residents as well as the destruction of their homes. As the situation in Morocco remains critical, international efforts are now focused on providing essential supplies to those affected by the earthquake, which has claimed almost 4,000 lives. Those who wish to help can donate to the Morocco Earthquake Response Relief Fund, Mercy Malaysia. Units from Asean countries began their first ever joint military drills in Indonesia's South Natuna Sea on Tuesday amid rising geopolitical tensions between major powers and protests against China's activities in the South China Sea. According to the Indonesian military, the 5-day operation is aimed at developing military skills, including maritime security and patrols and the distribution of humanitarian assistance and disaster relief. Indonesian military chief Margono Yudo, however, said these are non-combat exercises as ASEAN is more focused on economic and the training is more about social activities. He added that forces from every nation in the bloc, including Myanmar, are taking part in the exercise, but did not detail the extent of Myanmar's participation. Indonesia has also denied that the drills are aimed at countering China's growing assertiveness in the South China Sea, which Beijing claimed almost in its entirety. India on Tuesday expelled a senior Canadian diplomat accusing Canada of interfering in its internal affairs, escalating a breach with Ottawa over its allegations of Indian involvement in the killing of a Sikh activist in Canada. India's foreign ministry said the decision reflected its growing concern at the interference of Canadian diplomats in India's internal matters and Ottawa's involvement in anti-India activities. On Monday, Ottawa, in a statement, said it was actively pursuing credible allegations linking Indian government agents to the murder of Sikh separatist leader Hardeep Singh Nijjar outside a cultural centre in British Columbia on June 18th. Nijjar was reportedly organising an unofficial referendum in India for an independent Sikh nation at the time of his death. India, however, dismissed Canada's accusation as absurd and motivated and urged Ottawa to instead take legal action against anti-Indian elements operating from its soil. In Peru, at least 25 people were killed, including 2 children, after a bus plummeted from the edge of a narrow mountain road in the region of Huancavelica on Monday. According to authorities, the intercity coach was traveling overnight in the Andes Mountains between the cities of Huancayo and Huanta when it fell into a 200-meter deep ravine. Its defense minister, Jorge Chavez, said 25 people were confirmed dead, while 34 others were injured and have been taken to hospital. So far, authorities have not revealed what might have caused the fatal accident. Accidents frequently occur along Peruvian highways, believed to be due to speeding, poor road conditions, lack of signage and poor enforcement of traffic rules. Al Ittihad make winning return in AFC Champions League. Sports when we come back. Now with sports, football and the AFC Champions League. Al Ittihad started their campaign with a convincing 3-0 win over Uzbekistan's AGMK at Prince Abdullah Al Faisal Stadium in Jeddah. The hosts opened the scoring 11 minutes into the game when Harisune Kamara Ahmed fired in a left footer from the left side of the box after a cross from Abdurazak Hamdallah. Romarinho then doubled the lead with a low shot from a corner kick 4 minutes later before adding his second from the penalty spot in the 42nd minute following poor defending by AGMK. The 3-0 result puts Al Ittihad on top of Group C with 3 points, while AGMK are at the bottom with 0 points. Turning to tennis now and the 2023 Guadalajara Open, Russian Veronika Kudermetova edged out Canadian wildcard Eugenie Bouchard to reach the last 16. Bouchard displayed aggression in the opening set, but Kudermetova managed to save them and take an early lead with a 6-2 win. Kudermetova, however, lost the second set 6-7, but managed to claw her way back into the game to claim the third set 6-4. With the win, the Russian will face the winner of the match between 10th seed Victoria Azarenka and world number 102 Diana Rastremska. We're going for a short break. When we return, Manhunt launched for 5 suspected of murder. Stay tuned. Back on Nightline, thanks for staying with us. Crowding on public transportation can be more than an inconvenience. This is especially the case for women on the receiving end of unwelcome attention from male commuters. Will the introduction of a women's-only MRT coach help, or does more need to be done? FMT's Natasha Bust and Tan Chin Tung have the report.
Ever felt like a canned sardine on a rush hour train? Personal space is a luxury, and you're lucky if you don't elbow someone. But for many women, there's an added worry: the issue of wandering hands taking advantage of an already uncomfortable situation. That's why news of a ladies-only coach on the Kajang MRT line was welcomed by many social media users. And they're not the only ones. Karen Lai from the Women's Centre for Change says it is a good start.
I think it's very good that the Malaysian government recognizes how serious sexual harassment is as an issue. Very clearly, sexual harassment restricts the movement of women, right? Women's movement, and also obviously with that, it restricts the access of women for different opportunities in society, just getting around.
Lai hopes transport authorities and companies can take it a step further.
For example, in Ecuador, in Quito, commuters can report sexual harassment using a text message. They can alert the authorities and the driver, and this triggers an anti-harassment announcement on the bus. Other cities like Montreal, Paris, and Bangalore have added a request to stop service, etc.
Lillian Kok from the All Women's Action Society called for extra security.
What they can do is they can increase presence of security personnel. They could install more CCTV surveillance. So this might cost a little bit more expenditures, but I think it's necessary for public transportation. And also try to establish and enforce a hotline and reporting application for passengers. And also ensure that emergency buttons are made easily available and easily seen by public. And of course, training for staff. Ample training for staff, not only in terms of frequency, but also try to update with the utmost information.
Cox says the community must also come together to stop harassment against women.
The community itself, we have our role to collaborate and gather on solutions to improve safety. And aside from that also, when our community is more empowered to manage and to recognize all this kind of misconduct, sexual harassment, flashing, all these things, then we are able to take care of each other. And we will probably rely less on this public transportation to to keep their space safe. Of course, everybody has their role, but we cannot just wait for one party to do their job, basically.
Natasha Bust and Tan Chin Tung, FMT for Nightline.
World Trade Center Kuala Lumpur WTCKL Group Managing Director Datuk Sri Irmohizam Ibrahim has become the first Malaysian to be elected as the Board Director of the World Trade Centers Association WTCA. In a statement on Tuesday, WTCKL said Irmohizam is also the first Malaysian to be the chairman of WTCA's Conference and Exhibitions Member Advisory Council MAC. The WTCA network comprises over 340 members from 90 countries around the world. It said Irmohizam's appointment reflects his exceptional contributions and leadership within the global business events BE industry. The appointment reaffirmed his status as a prominent leader and influencer in the BE industry and further solidified Malaysia's presence on the global stage. Speaking to Nightline, Irmohizam explained why it was a momentous achievement not only for him but also for Malaysia.
I'm truly honoured and humbled by this opportunity to serve on the World Trade Center Association Board of Directors based in New York, United States of America. It's a significant achievement for both me and Malaysia, showcasing our potential in the global business events community. I'm committed to elevating Malaysia in this industry, making us even stronger. Together, we can achieve greatness for our nation and the global business community. I'm so proud in getting one of the place in the World Trade Center Association board members, and I believe as a first Malaysia in the board members of World Trade Center Association, we can make Malaysia to the greater height together. Thank you very much.
Disangka bakal bahagia kembali ke pangkuan ibu kandung, sebaliknya berakhir dengan tragedi.
Amir kata Amir okey. Tapi bila jadi, sebenarnya Amir tak okey, ya Allah.
Saya bagi tahu dia, bang, Amir dah tak ada.
Saya minta maaf, Amir. Dia tak tahu Amir sakit.
Fail Mahkamah, Rabu 9 malam di TV3 dan stream secara HD ditonton.
Police have smashed 7 major drug syndicates in the Klang Valley and seized drugs valued at 12.8 million ringgit in a series of raids between September 8th and Sunday. The operation led to the arrest of 14 individuals comprising 11 locals and 3 foreigners, including 2 Sri Lankan chemists. Selangor Deputy Police Chief Dato' S. Sasikala Devi on Tuesday said 2 drug laboratories at a 2-storey residence in Setia Alam and at a factory in Puchong were also raided during the 10-day operation. It was believed that the seized drugs were meant for distribution in the Klang Valley as well as Southeast Asia. The drug supply, including heroin, shabu, marijuana, cocaine and ketamine, was enough to cater for an estimated 1.94 million users. Equipment and chemicals believed to have been used to process the drugs, as well as various vehicles, jewellery, watches and cash amounting to nearly 600,000 ringgit were also seized. During one of the arrests in Bukit Puchong, Selangor last Wednesday, a 22-year-old local man even tried to offer a 100,000 ringgit bribe to the police after he was caught with 2.7 million ringgit worth of drugs in his car.
Dan dalam pemeriksaan mereka didapati di dalam bonet belakang kereta terdapat special compartment dan menjumpai 9 bungkusan plastik lutsina yang disyaki dadah ketamin anggaran berat dalam 45.4 kilogram.
4 of the suspects have previous records and one of them is a wanted individual. All the suspects, aged between 21 and 42, have been remanded to facilitate investigations under the Dangerous Drugs Act. In Kelantan, police have launched a manhunt in connection with the gunning down of a wanted criminal in front of a workshop at Jalan Hutan in Machang recently. State Police Chief Datuk Muhammad Zaki Harun said at least 5 people are believed to be involved in the crime. The victim, said to have been a 38-year-old entrepreneur, was shot dead in front of the workshop at about 5:45 p.m. on Sunday. The killers, who were reported to be in a white Honda, fired several shots at close range at the victim, who had been in the driver's seat of a pickup truck. Police, however, admitted that investigators are facing some level of difficulty, especially in ascertaining the registration plates of the car used in the attack, as there were no CCTVs in the area. Initial investigations showed that the victim had a criminal record with 12 entries for various criminal and drug-related offences and was also on the police's wanted list. Police are also trying to ascertain the motive behind the killing. The case is being investigated under Section 302 of the Penal Code. As we conclude nighttime this time around, let's take a look as hundreds of proud Bavarians wore their finest traditional clothes for the annual Oktoberfest traditional costume parade in Munich. I'm Azaria Tagaya. Thank you for watching and we'll see you next time.